and I was like, it just counted down.
What's up, everybody? This is Big Country Ray Cody and Mr. Woody, John Waddell, fresh from taking a shit.
Yes.
Yes. And we've been talking this morning about relationships and friends and mentors, and we thought we would come on and talk about it a little bit. I just drank a whole cup of fucking coffee grounds.
Just one. I'm on like my 10th.
Well, I don't have any way to make my coffee, and I only had one cup left in the pot, and I didn't feel like making any more.
Oh.
Lazy ass.
I'm getting ready to make the second pot.
Well, tell the disimpactor to get over here and help me out. So, I mean, the main reason why I'm here is this live. Yes, Doug Link, it's live. Morning Shitmaster. Once I get my Facebook working, I'll bring you on, David, but you're kind of fucking ugly, so I don't know if we want to.
Hey, before we get started, I was reading your post about looking for somebody to help you with the TVs. I heard a guy, David McCoy. I heard he'd help.
Yeah, and he's a man of his word. He'll get right out here and fuck you in the ass and take all your fucking money. I'm gonna bring David and Alex on if I can ever get my fucking thing to work.
I hate it when my thing doesn't work.
From what I hear, your thing hasn't worked in a couple of years. Hey, bro, Kelly keeps putting your secrets out there, brother.
That's what
she was
before.
She was telling me just the other day that you guys went out and had a couple of beers, and she was trying to coax the little thing out past your zipper. It poked his head out and got shy and stuck itself back in like a turtle head.
Exactly. Like a fucking turtle.
I don't know if that's, I mean, we all can't be blessed like fucking David Thornton.
Snuggles.
I mean, but I tell you what, if I see one more post about Kelly begging for a fucking live feed from him, I'm going to fire her from being the disinfector.
That works.
Because I tell see Kelly, you got to understand something. David constipates me. John releases me. No, sadly you can't. Hold on, David. I'm trying to get you linked up to this fucking show, but Facebook's not responding for some damn reason. What a pain in the ass. Hey, John, can you forward the link to David and Alex from your end, or?
Let me try here. Hold on.
It won't let me do it from my end.
Let's
try this.
Because I think. Hold on.
Where'd you go, John? Well, my show is fucking up here today. Let's see if John comes back on. I'm trying to. What the hell? Okay. Get that out there. All right, guys. I'm just going to talk and see what's going on. Sorry. So, a lot of people, you know, they're going through a lot of stuff right now. People that we know, people that we like, some people we don't like. You know, we all have problems in our relationships with our significant others. We all have problems in friendships. We all have, what's up, CJ Twine? We all have problems with mentors, people we look up to. We got John Waddell coming up. Okay, let's see if I can't figure out this fucking thing. Let's bring John back on.
I forwarded the link to David and Alex.
Oh, yeah, David's coming on right now. Here comes the Thornton Thumper.
There I am.
The Snuggles.
The Snuggle Thumper.
What's up, Raymond Dillon? I don't know if will come on, but I don't care who I'm going to offend in this because it needs to be said. You know, David said it best last night, and he said it, quoted it best in the beginning. Team Crushing It is like the cartoon Baby New Year in the Island of Misfits. There isn't a one of us that doesn't have issues. David suffers from PTSD and anxiety. John suffers from PTSD. I'm actually diagnosed PTSD with psychotic rage. Yes, I'm fucking crazy. This is why I don't own a gun, because I'll use it. I put all that out there about the three of us, and I brought them on because I didn't want anybody going back to them saying, oh my God, Ray's on live, talking all about your personal stuff. I don't know who's got their volume up.
Not me.
But anyway, everybody has different issues. Everybody has the problems of dealing with
life.
Yes.
Jessica Loudon, yes, you should always work through it. But most of all, you shouldn't belittle the person. You shouldn't talk. Now, I'll tell you guys right now, when I get angry and I flip out, that's what I go to. I'm all about throwing out hurtful names. And just talking shit because in my head, that's better than fucking punching somebody. But reality is emotional scars and mental abuse in a lot of cases can be worse than anything physical.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't say I didn't own a gun. I said I don't need a gun. And I will always advertise I don't own a gun. Why? Because I'm a convicted felon and I shouldn't fucking have one.
I carry my guns with me at all times. They're permanent.
Okay, yeah, we're not talking about that fucking hose flash you carry in your pants. So, what prompted me to do this video is this. I'm just going to keep it real. everybody knows that Helen and I have been going, well, not everybody, anybody who's close to us knows that her and I have been going through some problems, much like a lot of people. Facebook is a place to come and vent. Facebook is a place to come and get close to people you think that are your friends and that will be there for you. With that being said, everybody has problems. My mama raised me to bite my tongue and walk away when you are mad, because in the heat of the moment, you will always say or do something you'll regret and you don't mean. Well, Jessica Loudon, I don't believe that. I personally believe that I don't ever back away from what I say when I'm angry. If I call you a fucking asshole, you're an asshole at that minute, at that second, and I will not apologize for it. The problem is this. I put up a post over the weekend. There are 2 truths and there are 2 lies. The problem is when you share an account and you share friends and you share your life, it's very hard for people to get away, to separate from each other. Perfect example, this past weekend, Helen and I got into it. I decided, fuck it, let's go to Vegas. So myself, Alexander Armour, and Chris Demos, in a car to Vegas, we went. I was actually told by Helen that I wasn't a man that would step up for her and her kids. Is she wrong for saying that? No. Why? Because that's what she felt at the time.
At the moment, right.
I may have gotten mad. I have maybe have ran my mouth and said hurtful things to her. But that was me in the moment at the time. Everybody who goes, what's that, David?
As well, that's being human. That's not. I mean, that's we have these certain impulses as human beings to when we are verbally attacked or in a confrontation.
It's defense mode.
It's your defense mode. It's your body.
Doug Link, you don't bite your tongue. That's why I watch your show. Thank you, Doug.
Well, and that's just the human response. If you were to sit there and just take it and take it and take it, you're going to be not. I mean, you're going to feel like a coward. You're going to feel like, and so the natural response is to lash back out, and that's just human nature. I mean, it's probably the dawn of man. We, the first man and woman probably, argued like a son of a bitch. Well, they were naked, so I guess that maybe they didn't argue so much.
Well, if you want to talk about the first man and woman, you got to talk about Adam and Lilith.
Yeah, we're the true. Yes.
Yeah, Lilith was Adam's first wife.
She was cast out of the garden because she was not subservient.
Right. She didn't feel like she had to bow down to man, and she didn't have to do what man said. So she was cast.
She was made of the earth. Just like Adam, she was made of the earth, whereas Eve was made from the rib of Adam.
Right. And then Lilith went on to marry Samael, and then Eve was made of the man's rib.
Yep.
And they went on to,
and they've been a pain in our. I think they actually took the ass because they've been a pain in our ass ever since.
Exactly, Raymond Dillon. You know what, Jessica Loudon? You're right. Because I'll tell you something, and I'm not ashamed to admit this. I've done it many, many times. I have gotten so angry at Helen that I have called her worthless. I've called her a dipshit. I've called her all kinds of colorful adjectives that shouldn't be called. But I don't apologize for what I do in the heat of the moment, because to me, an apology is a promise not to do it again. And I can't promise that to her, because when I get angry and I get to a level that I become aggressive. That's how I lash out. I lash out verbally. Helen lashes out physically.
Right.
David and I were talking the other day. David has an ex, his children's mother, who has the same conditions as Helen.
They could be twins.
You know, John, who is far from being perfect and has his own issues and has experienced shit. So you see the three people before you on this screen. Call us the Three Stooges. Call us whatever you want, but we all the thing that makes Team Crushing It special is we all have something similar in common. Maybe say sorry for what you said, or I know what I said wasn't right. Well, Kelly Waddell, with that one, it's like this. Again, I look at an apology as a promise not to do it again. And I can't make that promise because when I get angry, I run my mouth. I open it up. I honestly think I do it to invite the physical aggression to give me a reason to fight back. I don't know. My
Kelly
point
will
on
tell
coming
you,
up.
when I get mad, I say and do shit that, I mean, the thing in a fight, everybody has to realize, you know, if you think about it, a fight, an argument, whatever it is, it's all about who can hurt who the most.
Yeah.
At the time.
Well, at the time. And Doug Link, to answer your question, yes, it is in the Bible about Lilith. The problem is everybody focuses on the New Testament and they forget about what happened before Christ. Okay, you can't wipe away what happened before Christ just because Christ died on the cross for our sins. Okay? And like what you just said, John, people get angry, people say things. Everybody's different. Everybody believes in different things. But back to what's up, Josh Higginbotham? Yeah, we are some ugly motherfuckers. Not all of us can have dreamy eyes like you that we all fall asleep to. I mean, Jesus Christ, man, you got about the sexiest fucking eyes I've ever seen on a human being. What's that?
And I got to do a deadlift with those sexy eyes.
Well, it's better than having to do a fucking do a Viking press with a Thornton thumper. I personally think I should be able to get extra help, seeing as how he has 3 legs to push off of.
It's a kickstand.
But back to what I was saying. There's 2 truths and there's 2 lies to everything. Okay? Somebody has to be strong enough and be big enough to be wrong. And that is the biggest problem with fights, is most people who fight, they're fighting because they can't be wrong and they can't listen to the other person and they can't accept whatever the issue is. Hey, I'm perfect for that. I always have to be fucking right. And I know that. That's why I try to stay out of arguments. It doesn't make Photoshop my ass, Josh. We'll see you in Arkansas, buddy. We're going to make you the poster child with those eyes, man. Jesus Christ. You know, and we all come on Facebook and we all, what's up, Jim Cowan? And we all, I'm going to research it. I read that in the Bible. Doug Link, yeah, research it. Lilith, as David Thornton just mentioned, Lilith was created of the earth just like Adam. So therefore, she thought she was equal to Adam versus being subservient. This was the first signs of the fall of the world when a woman thought she was equal to a man.
Right. There's a lot, just to sidetrack just for a second, there's a lot of stories that were not put into the New Testament that existed. There's a lot of the stories of Mary Magdalene were not included in the New Testament. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that were left out because the Bible was written by man, and man is imperfect.
Right. Exactly. That's why when people ask me what religion I am, I'm not a religion. Religion is man-made.
Right.
Jesus Christ did not come down upon this earth and say, David, you're going to be Catholic. John, you're going to be Protestant. Ray, you're going to be this. No, he just said, come on to me and 2 or more, and I will be in your presence and speak my word.
Right.
That's what Jesus did. Nowhere did Jesus walk into a $7 million, $20 million fucking building to give his service.
Right.
Okay? That is all man-made. You didn't see people coming. You didn't see Jesus turn anybody away because they didn't have a chicken to give him to hear his word.
Right.
No, he said, give what you can and you'll be repaid tenfold.
Right.
But in today's culture of religion, you have people passing out a fucking budget so the pastor can live in a fucking $1 million house and drive a freaking Maserati.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, I've been at Sunday service and they'll pass the basket around for offerings and they'll actually count it. If it's not enough, they'll pass the damn thing around again. I'm like,
yeah.
I didn't realize, how are you a not-for-profit religion if...
Well, this is it. This is it. The church itself may be nonprofit, but the people running it are making bank.
Oh, yeah.
And people, I mean, look at these big, what do you call it? These big church gatherings that they show on TV.
Evangelism?
Where these fucking idiots are going, ah, you were healed, and the whole fucking crowd falls over.
Revival.
I went to one of those things and walked up to the guy and told him that I had fucking nut cancer, and if he could grab my balls, he'll fucking heal me. I just wanted my balls grabbed, but fucking. But back to what I was saying about 2 truths and 2 lies, and being big enough to admit you're wrong, and that's the biggest problem with men. Is men cannot admit that they're wrong, at least men in our generation. Now, keep in mind, guys, when I say men, I mean men born before 1995.
Right.
Actually, born before 1990, because pretty much men from 1990 on are a bunch of fucking lily-ass pansies that don't know who the fuck they are.
Millennial, or what do they call them?
The Bible says to pay tithes to the pastor, 10%. Well, yeah, the New Testament says pay tithes to the pastor, 10%. But I'm sorry, I'm not paying shit to anybody. But some are in it for the money. Josh, you're right. A lot of them are. They're all cults, megachurch. Absolutely, guys.
Well, what's that one guy who's always on? The young gentleman with brown hair. He's got that multi-million-dollar church with 10,000 parishioners, and
fucking Olsen.
Yeah. Yep. I mean,
when Texas was flooding, he went up in the air on his fucking private jet versus opening up his church to the fucking people suffering.
Yep.
Fuck him.
I mean, look at Billy Graham. Although I think Billy Graham had a much more.
Josh, hold on, brother. Josh Loudon, please come back and watch this because you're a part of the reason why I came on this today and why I'm doing this. So definitely watch this, Josh, and you'll get the gist. I mean, we're going to do our thing. We're going to go on and off. John left us.
Yeah, I don't have any John.
I don't know either. Let's see if my system's freaking
got some bugs in it.
Well, no, what it is this freaking this direct-to-garment printer that I got going on.
Yeah.
It takes up so much Wi-Fi speed that whenever, like I'm printing shirts.
Yeah.
So everything's slow.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, no, this is John.
I'll tell you what, man. For me,
Fucking bug.
church has helped me. Church helps people all the time.
Oh, there's definitely a place for it. Absolutely.
Doug Link, people who say you have to go to church to be a Christian is a hypocrite. Personally, I find Christianity or Christians that go to church. I'll give you an example. Let's talk about my arrest real quick. So as everybody know, I got arrested on April 7th. One of the people that called the police on Helen and I go to our church. And this fucking bitch decides she's going to approach me at church to apologize to me for calling the police, but she felt that I was going to do harm.
I'll be right back. I got to I got to answer a text, and every time I do, it freezes. So I'll be back.
Sure. All right, bro.
Well,
and I looked at her, and I said, wouldn't it have been better to approach us and ask us what was going on versus assume what was going on?
Yep.
And she goes, well, I'm asking you for forgiveness. So I told her to find God. And she goes, excuse me? I go, I don't forgive you because what you did was unforgivable in my eyes. Find God for forgiveness.
Well, I mean, and a good example of that, you're talking about people who go to church, you know, I mean, I've been to service in Merritt Island, and it's a big church, very small parking lot, and it's like people going to church, they're dressed nicely, everybody's quiet, they do everything, the Catholic calisthenics, you know, kneel, sit, stand, and say the prayers and sing the songs, and then as soon as they get out of the parking lot, they're back to being an asshole. You know?
Yeah.
They're trying to cut you off to get out. They're giving you the finger because you won't let them in. It's like, wait a minute, you think for being in church for 45 minutes gives you forgiveness for being an asshole for the last 7 days?
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, right? Everybody thinks that, okay, Sundays for church, I can get all my sins forgiven,
right?
Blah 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 blah. And then, like you said, when they're done, go back to being a stuck-up fucking douchebag.
Yeah,
I go to church with Helen because Helen's found a church that works for her, and she likes the support. I don't go to that church because I believe that church is for me. I personally don't even sit into the service. I take the baby and I go into the parents' room and I watch the service from there. Now it's a really cool church. The pastor and his family are really cool. It's a come as you are kind of church. But then you get somebody like me who walks in, fucking tattoos all over the head, all over the neck. Oh my God, who do we have walking into our church? My favorite part of the church service, and I stay in the service until this time, because it proves how much hypocrites Christianity has. The pastor, like most churches, says, hey, get up and introduce yourself and shake your neighbor's hand.
Right.
Bro, it's fucking hilarious. He'll say that, and I'll purposely just sit there, and people will walk around me and say hi to people next to me, but won't say 2 words to me. So all I got to say to that is, fuck you on that. You don't have to give forgiveness in church. You can get forgiveness in the bathroom or whatever. Exactly, Josh. Going to church doesn't a person. Your actions are the ones that God sees. Right. Exactly, Maribel.
Here's the thing about
what I was saying. What's that, bro?
It says in the Bible, you know, God shall not be housed by brick or mortar. You know, so and you said it best, where two or more are gathered to speak my name, I am also there.
Right.
Exactly. You know, hold on, guys.
And nowhere in the Bible does it say that one person, in this particular case, the Pope, is the mouthpiece of God. There's no reference.
Exactly.
That was a man-made concept. They said, well, we need somebody to run the church. So you have the bishops, the cardinals, and all that. But they, every 15, 20 years, when a pope dies, they go into a room and they puff smoke out the chimney when they've picked a pope. And he's supposed to be the mouthpiece and the highest human being to God, as far as able to almost communicate. And I don't think there's anybody on earth who has that capability.
This is how hypocritical religion is. The Bible says, do not idol worship. Do not worship any other than me. Right. But when you go into a Catholic church, you see statues and paintings of the Virgin Mary. You see people carrying the Pope's hand, kissing his hand like he's some fucking guy special. You look at the Bible. You look at the Bible. The Bible says, "Do not add or subtract from the Word of God." But then you got the fucking Mormons who wrote 5 fucking more books.
Yeah,
adding to the Word of God, the Book of Mormon, Pearl of Great Price, Doctrine and Covenants, so on and so forth. Raymond Dillon, the reason why the Pope is held so high on this world is because you said it best. Religion is a cult. And the people who follow Catholicism and follow that nature of believe that that the Pope is pretty much God on heaven. So he's go ahead.
Do you know what the Pope now, Pope Francis, do you know what he did before he found religion?
No.
He was a bouncer in Brazil.
Well, he's got life experience.
Yeah.
Well, here's my problem with religion too, especially Christianity, is you have priests who you can go to in any church, whether it's Baptist or Catholic or whatever, Lutheran, doesn't matter, and they can give you marital advice. What the hell do they know about marriage? They've never been married. They can't have a relationship.
Dude, that's like going to a virgin to ask them for advice on how to suck a dick.
Yeah. They may be able to read a book, i.e. the Bible, and go, well, let's see, John says the blah, blah, blah. Well, okay, that doesn't tell me shit. No offense, but, that's not telling me how to solve my problem.
Hey, I can read a book on engineering, but that doesn't mean I can do your job.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're taught, they go to the seminary and they become priests. And I think priests should be allowed to marry. Number one, it would cut down on all this molestation going on, because it would actually attract, normal priests instead of diddlers. And two, it'd get their frustrations out. And two, I mean, what would be wrong with having a priest and his wife conduct service? I mean, it'd be more relatable because they're, you know what I mean? It's just, to me,
well, it's more relatable, bro. And like you said, and not only that, who the fuck is the Catholic Church? How many priests have they saved from prosecution that have raped altar boys?
Oh yeah.
To me, I think everybody in the Catholic Church, from the fucking Pope down, should be fucking castrated and sodomized by fucking Jeffrey Dahmer.
If you're going to dedicate your life to God to that level, then yes, surgical castration is painless. And if you're committing to a life of celibacy, take a little nut off.
Hold on 1 second. Kelly commented, Mormon churches actually do what churches are supposed to do. Just my opinion, unlike other churches that judge. Not saying they are perfect, but so I'm like, it's whatever works. Exactly, it's whatever works for the individual. But as far as as far as saying the Mormon church does what they're supposed to do, let's see. If you, in the Mormon church, if you fall in sin, like say you're married and you have an extramarital affair, you
Right.
get excommunicated from that church.
Right.
That's not what God wants. God wants forgiveness, not what's up, David? Hey, David, Lutheran and Baptist pastors can and most do marry. Catholics do not so much.
Right.
I can tell you a story of the same. So no, again, everybody has their opinion. They're like assholes. To say the Mormon church does what churches are supposed to. The only thing I like about the Mormon church, the real Mormon church, is they allow a man to have more than one wife.
Well,
I mean, how fucking awesome would that be? You have a problem with Monday, you move on to fucking Tuesday. If Tuesday, Wednesday gang up with you on Monday, fuck the week and go right to the weekend.
Well, and you have to remember about the Catholics are the only one that calls them priests. The rest are either called reverend or they're not called priests. Other religions don't refer to the head of that church as a priest. There's a difference. If you're a Baptist, it's a reverend, and he is.
Okay, Kelly's telling us to shut up and let John talk.
No.
Actually, I have.
Exactly. Real quick though, before I forget. So just so everybody knows, next Tuesday at 5 p.m., I'm going to be on David Perron's show, the Beaver Pump Podcast. I don't know what the show's going to be about. I'm a little nervous. Not really. But I am going to be on that show on next Tuesday at 5 p.m. if you guys want to tune in.
Okay.
When me and my wife wanted to get married at our local church 12 years ago, the priest told us, I'm not marrying you guys because you guys are too young and you guys will just another statistic. I basically told him, fuck you. Who are you to determine if we will make it or not? Never really been back to that church again. Like you guys said, he's no marriage counselor. Look at us now. Exactly. John, your wife wants you to tell a story about the church you all go to.
Well, so real quick before my battery dies, and this is kind of why me and Kelly left that church. It was a church she grew up in. She knew the minister. He was there when she was born. Everybody knows that there's a pretty big age difference between me and Kelly. And when I walked into that church with Kelly, we walked up, he looked me up and down with a disgusted look. I put my hand out to shake his hand.
Right.
He turned his back and walked away.
So how is that a holy man?
But wait. What's even better is 2 years later, this man left his wife for another woman he was running around with and is still the head of the church.
Can't see it.
But so real quick before I got to go because my phone's telling me to plug it in. We're looking at these shirt designs and everybody's making good suggestions. For the next week, Ray, why don't we put up a contest for people to come up with the best front of the design for the shirts?
Because the best design for the shirt's already been made.
Oh,
that
shut
shirt
up.
That shirt was designed by the guest of honor.
Oh, well, then never mind.
Yes, yes.
If he designed it, that's the way it's going to be.
I mean, I put it up. I mean, what George did is George kind of drew it. His sister kind of took it over to make it a little more visible and legible. So that's the shirt. I put the post away. I put it to get your opinions. I actually like how it is. The two arms, because what do arm wrestlers always say? Let's pull. Right?
Right.
Yep.
So let's pull together for autism.
Right.
I think it's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't saying Mormons were perfect. I was just saying from our church experience to when we went to the Mormon church, they actually welcomed us versus every other church that judges. Oh, Kelly, that's because they want your money. I remember going to a church where the pastor made a personal house visit to tell my dad he needs to stop seeing a certain woman and told him we weren't allowed back. Yeah, because like I said, Christians are hypocrites. You're not allowed to sin and be forgiven by man. But back to what I was talking about with relationships as well. Josh, I'm glad you're watching. Because as I was saying, there are two truths and there are two lies. As men in a relationship, our job is to provide, to protect, to take care of. The woman's job is to provide, to protect, and take care of. We just do it. Men and women are just supposed to do it differently. Men are supposed to go out and farm the fields and plow and whatever the fuck men do to make money and support. And women are supposed to stay home, take care of the house, take care of the children. But as times progress, it's hard to keep a parent in the house and stay home with the kids.
Yeah,
most parents have to work. Never mind one job. Most parents work two jobs just to provide for their family.
About the 1970s was when that started really to. I mean, 1950s, early 60s, and again, it's kind of like post-Vietnam is when that American ideal disappeared.
Exactly. So back to relationships and fighting. Listen, guys, I fight with Helen all the time. I break up with Helen probably 50 times a fucking day. Okay? Because I just get tired of the bullshit. She gets tired of my bullshit. But at the end of the day, through people like John Waddell and David Thornton, trust me, John will tell you, David will tell you, when I'm really having a bad day, they're one of three people I call. The other person I call is Alexander Armour. Okay? Not to put David's business out there, but this is what team crushing it is. David gets woken up the other day to fucking Homeland Security knocking on his fucking door, local police knocking on his door because some fucking terrorist motherfucker named Mohammed is on the terrorist watch list, and he's requesting all these people as friends on Facebook. But most of all, David's account got shut down. He wasn't able to get any money to help pay what he had to pay. So, like Team Crushing It fashion, he hits me up. He's like, hey, brother, can you help me out for a couple of days? I need X amount of dollars just to get me through until my account is released, Sure, no problem. That's what we do. Helen right now is going through a difficult time. She's, we both are. Okay. And Helen's reaching out to people and she's talking to people. And this is what I say about two truths and two lies. Not that what Helen is saying about me is a lie, but it's not the whole truth. And when people get involved in people's relationships, you can't pick sides. And that is what Team Crushing It's about. Helen can still call David. Helen can still call John or Alex or Kelly or whoever. This is what Team Crushing It is. We are a family. We are there to help each other. Josh Loudon, I understand you're going through some stuff right now too, brother. And this is why we're on here. We're here to talk to you.
Yeah.
No one's here to tell you what to do in your relationship. But what we are telling you to do is to be smart.
Yeah.
To think this over.
Yeah.
Go back home.
Yeah.
I know that you got plans to head to Florida, but until that happens, go back home. You can't, talk with your wife, talk with your daughter, allow them to be your family, allow us to be your family.
Yeah. And there's no shame in that.
No, there's not.
No.
Dude, I had two guys come to my house from Colorado to help me, and they did, and it turned into an absolute shit show. Am I mad at those people? No. They're still part of the Team Crushing It, and they will always have our help if they need it. Josh, go home. Go
Yeah,
sleep
I mean,
in your house.
John, you're
Go
young.
eat food.
Not John, Josh, you're young, and we've all been at some point in our lives in a situation like yours, and it's hard to turn around and go back, and it is. But look at your alternatives that you are the because of where you're at, you are suffering unnecessarily.
because of pride.
When there is at least a temporary solution. I mean, when you have an option, you take that option, and instead of putting yourself through suffering unnecessarily, being dehydrated and being in the elements and all that thing, that's not a way to live. That's not living. That's being stagnant, and you always have to keep moving forward. That's the biggest thing in life. Is if at the moment you stop moving is when everything falls apart.
Yep. Exactly. But anyway,
Like a lot of people heard John, David, and I a few months ago, we all got real excited. Yeah. Everybody's moving to fucking Arkansas. We're going to get a big piece of property and have a nice big fucking crazy ass misfit cult on this property of land. Why did we get all excited?
Because of the brothel.
For the same reason. David doesn't really have anyone outside of Team Crushing It. Huh? John doesn't really have anyone. I don't have anyone. These are my brothers. These are my family.
Yeah.
So when the thought of moving to Arkansas came up, I jumped all over it. But David didn't have to talk to anybody. But what did John and I not do? We didn't talk to our significant others. We didn't say, I didn't go to Helen and say, hey, I'm going to pack up our whole fucking family, move to Arkansas, and live on 5 acres of land with fucking people we've never met before. Are you okay with that? Awesome. Let's go. John didn't do that either. So no. David the other day was talking about what is Team Crushing It? What's our mantra? What is our mission statement? For me, Team Crushing It has nothing to do with Country Crush weight handles. Nothing.
No, never has.
To me, Team Crushing It is a group of people who have come together and bonded. We range from existing and living is different. Exactly, Doug Link.
Yep.
Our age, I believe our youngest member of Team Crushing It would be Kelly Waddell at 25. I think I'm the oldest at 50, ain't I? Anyways, we have all levels of experience.
Yeah.
And just because we're older doesn't mean we know more. Alexander Armour is 32 years old and taught me more last week than I've learned from people older than me.
Yeah. Yeah, age has nothing to do with it.
No.
You can learn. You
like
can learn.
You guys saw me.
I've learned lessons from my children.
Yeah. I learned a lesson from my son. He's only 6 years old.
Exactly.
Friends.
But you have to be paying attention to learn that lesson.
Exactly. Josh said he watched the video of David the other day. So Josh, go home, brother. Your wife, your daughter, your family wants you home. No one's saying you have to stay there. But you need to stop putting everybody through stress, and you need to stop putting everybody through worry. And you owe it to them to be with them until you leave. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that opinion. I agree 100% on that. I mean, you have certain obligations that, I don't know if you want to call them obligations, but you just have certain things that you can't just drop and go.
There's nothing wrong with leaving to clear your head. I went to Vegas for 3 days.
Oh yeah, for a short period of time. Right. I'm saying, like,
just
drop and be gone forever.
Right.
Guys, my phone's about to die. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later.
All right, love you too, brother.
Hey, John, I got 2 words for you. Charge it.
Yeah. All right, love y'all.
All right, love you guys.
So now there was just 2.
Now there's just 2.
You know, everybody has relationships, everybody has friends, everybody has mentors.
Yeah.
I don't know David Thornton from asshole. I don't even know how the fuck we came across each other on Facebook, to be perfectly honest with you.
I've been scrolling through going, how the fuck is we talked about it a few weeks ago? I'm like, I don't know. I thought we met on a bondage website, but I don't know.
We might have. We definitely didn't meet on a big penis website because I wouldn't be able to get into that website. So the bottom line is this, guys. Everybody has paranoia. Everybody has issues they deal with.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I will be the first one to tell you when David was going to come out here the first time and he didn't, and no one was getting called. We couldn't find out anything. I got to be honest with you. I thought he just fucking flaked and he was just full of shit.
No.
Then when the second time happened, God bless the man. He had to go and deal with his mother's passing. But it's okay, Josh. Don't LOL wow. Everybody here is supporting you, brother. Everybody here wants you to go to Florida. Everybody wants you to be happy. But we also want you to get off the street. We also want you to eat. We also want you to drink. And we also want you to be safe. And if you have if you can't go, I'm going to say this right now live. If you can't go back home and you're waiting for payday to get to Florida, let me know how much money you need and I'll PayPal it to you and I'll get you to Florida today. It's that simple. I want you off the street and I want you I want a roof over your head. I want you eating right and I want you safe, Josh.
Yeah, Josh.
We love you.
I see the look in your eyes when you do live feeds, and that's not the you that I knew when I first met and saw you and was talking to you on live or anything. Where that fire. That
wait a minute. He was talking about the bondage thing.
Oh.
Well, I mean, drink and eat. Yeah. I mean, Josh, if you like bondage, yeah. I mean, either house you go to, mine or David's, you can experience it.
Yeah. You'll be the recipient, but
you look at me, guys, and I'm not going to get into a lot of it because I'm just not ready yet. But David knows, John knows, those closest to me know. I struggle every day with chronic severe depression, every day. It's not because I don't have a good life. It's not because I don't have people around me that love me and whatnot. It's because I'm not happy within. And everybody looks at people, oh, that guy's an asshole or that woman's a bitch. You don't know what people suffer from. And that's what makes Team Crushing It so fucking awesome, because we can go to each other.
Yeah.
And
we're all so similar in many ways.
Yeah.
We've walked in each other's shoes, basically.
You look at me and David. David's ex-wife suffers from the same condition that Helen does, which is bipolar disorder and borderline personality disorder.
Yep.
Which are 2 very hard conditions as the person who has it to live with.
Right.
Imagine not being able to control yourself when you know in your head what you're doing is wrong and you have to stop, but you can't.
Can't. Yep.
And then the people around you, like myself, I don't understand this condition. I talk to David about it all the time.
Yep.
I don't know how to help Helen. And this is what Team Crushing It is. We can talk to each other. David's experienced it. David is personally has talked me down from leaving Helen by saying it's not her, it's the condition.
Right.
It's the illness.
Yeah, we talked for a couple.
Now, go ahead.
No, I said we talked for a couple hours last night, and it's life is a bitch, and if life was meant to be easy, everyone would be doing well and good at it. But life is a series of tests, and whether you choose to take those tests and move forward separates the group from the individual. And we have
Doug Link. The problem with keeping her away from triggers, not to cut David off, is I'm her trigger.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but I am, because it doesn't matter what I do. It almost, it's funny. When I'm nice to Helen, it seems like it bothers her more.
Huh.
Like when I do something out of the norm, if I do something that, like yesterday, perfect example. Helen and I got into a little fight because she thought I said something and I said I didn't say it, and it caused a little riff. Right. Then, Big D, Chris Demos pulled me aside. He goes, bro, that fight was your fault. And I'm like, no, what do you mean it's my fault? And he's like, bro, what Helen said you said, you said. So what did I do? I went up and I apologized, and then boom, I got my head ripped off.
Yeah. Which for that condition is a normal reaction.
Right. Then she said thank you, and life moves on. Yeah. Accordingly. Yeah. I read a text message that Helen sent actually to Josh's wife. And this goes back to what I was saying. There's 2 truths and 2 lies. Because in a fight, the 2 people involved in the fight, they're going to say their truth, and their truth is going to be a lie to the other person. That's why I say what I say.
Right.
As people hearing this, because Helen goes to you, David, she goes to Alex, she goes, again, this is what Team Crushing It is. Yeah, we are a support system.
We're a network of brothers and sisters.
Right. It's not, oh, fuck you, I'm Ray's friend, Helen, fuck you, you're a bitch. No, it's like, oh, yeah, Ray's an asshole for doing that. Absolutely. But you've got to tell the whole story.
Right.
You can't just be one-sided on it. Because when you only tell one side of the story, then you're getting an uneducated, uninformed response.
Right.
Which will then cater to what you want to hear, because whoever you're telling is only hearing your side. They're only hearing your truth.
Yep.
Doug Link, as far as Helen goes. Exactly, Doug Link. And that's really what it comes down to. And Helen and I struggle, and I don't make it easier on Helen. I'm getting better. My health is getting better. David can attest. My strength is definitely coming back.
Definitely. Well, you look healthier too.
Josh, it's not about bashing anyone.
No.
It's about letting your feelings out. I can sit here and tell you right now, that I felt 100% in the right for doing what I did over the weekend. But then when I go back and I look at the thousands, and I literally mean the thousands of text messages that went back and forth between me and Helen over the weekend.
Right.
And I take away my responses, and I just read all her messages to me.
Right.
When she made the comment to me, I just wish I had a man that would step up to be a dad to her children, and step up and be a partner to her. It wasn't that she was saying I never did it. I wasn't doing it at that moment.
Right.
I failed as a man because I did not take care of and protect my loved ones. Instead, I hurt them by my actions. Josh Loudon, that's what you're doing.
And
no
again,
one's saying
it's not bashing, John. It's
no.
we're just telling you how we see it and it's something that you're missing in this whole thing, because seeing your live sessions, I can see that you're upset. I can see that you're not in your right state of mind. You're going through a lot, and you're trying to make sense of everything that's going through your head right now, because I'm sure you're being pulled in several different directions mentally. But listen to what Ray says, because it's the truth. He and I have been through this situation before, many times, and it's not just because we're older. It's just because we've been through a lot of shit. Ray and I have both been through hell and back, and we're still here. And as he said, there's a difference between existing and living, and we're tired of just existing when we want to live. And
that's the thing.
Yeah. So we just want to see you live.
Nobody wants to see you sleeping in a park or see you sleeping in a storage unit. Yeah. I don't want to get messages about how you're not eating and you're not drinking because you don't want to spend any money because you want to make sure your wife and your child has it all. Right. Let me tell you something. Your wife and your child would rather have you back and healthy and happy, or have you wherever, have you at your dad's, have you at your sister's, have you at David's. They want you somewhere other than where you're at.
Yeah. Because they
not necessarily.
When they don't know, when they can't see you or communicate with you, nobody knows what's going on. And that's when worst case scenarios start going through people's heads. My God, where is Josh? Or anybody for that matter. It doesn't matter. It's just using you as an example. But, we wonder when, when we can't get a response from you, we go, because we think about you all the time, brother. We're always praying for you. We're always wishing the best for you. And that's why we're doing this, because we don't want to see you make mistakes that you'll regret later on.
Which brings me into the third part of this show, mentors. We've all had them.
Yep.
We've all had somebody in our lives that we looked up to. It may be a relative. It may be somebody who was a friend to a relative. Who knows? Yeah. One of my biggest mentors in life was Arthur Drews, Badger Drews. Yeah. He's the one who got me into arm wrestling. He's the one who tried to step in and be a father figure to me and teach me what I was doing was stupid. And what did I do? 17 years old, I looked at him, fuck you. What do you know? Blah, 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 blah. And I left his mentorship. I left his team. And my life was just nothing but a bunch of trials and tribulations. I was homeless. I'm not saying that if I would have stayed with him or stayed active, that I wouldn't have ended up the same way, but I never gave myself a chance.
Right.
Because I always felt that I knew better. And Art Drews is a great guy. Even to this day, man. Even to this day, he'll watch the live feeds. He doesn't really message me or whatever.
Right.
And it's funny, he doesn't have to, because it's almost like I know what he's thinking when I'm having one of my moments.
Yep.
Like, hey, stupid, pull your head out of your fucking ass. You're being an idiot again. And that's what I love about that.
My father can give me that look. He doesn't have to say it. It's like, you're an idiot. And he doesn't have to say it. He just looks at you and you know what he's thinking.
Right. And we all take things personally. We all say don't take shit personally. Let it roll off your back like water on a duck's ass.
Yeah.
But we all take things personally. Again, I'll say it again. When David didn't make it out the second time, even though he went to go bury his mother, I took it personally. I was like, fuck, I wanted him here. I was pissed. And that's the selfish nature of being a human being.
Well, we're not ducks backs. We're sponges.
Yeah. You know,
Sure.
again, people ask me all the time, dude, your shows don't get that many views. Why do you do them? Why do you waste your time? Because I don't do these for fucking clicks. I don't do these for views or fucking popularity.
Yep.
I do these because I got two brothers right now that are in a worse spot than me. I got my brother Josh Loudon, who needs a little bit of help and some advice and some prayers and some support, and he needs to be raised up. And then I got my other brother, Alexander Armour, sitting in a hospital fighting for his life.
Yep.
You know?
And please, everybody say a prayer for Alex.
That's why I do these shows.
Yep.
You know, we can all sit here and we can be on Facebook and we can bash each other over political reasons or, you know, sexual orientation or whatever. But at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter.
Nope.
And
when you go to bed at night, none of those things make any difference.
You know, every night my son and I say a prayer.
Yeah.
And of course I include everybody in this world in that prayer. But I do add a little extra for those close to me. Doug Link, Alex is currently in the hospital. He is on a donors recipients list. But on September 9th, Alex has to have surgery and they're removing his pancreas and his spleen. Because of his health, he had to withdraw from the world's strongest disabled man. He's kind of alone up there in Johnson City. If anybody's close to him that can go visit him in the hospital, that would be appreciated. Like I said, I've actually thought about either me personally going or sending Helen so he has somebody with him.
Yeah.
You know,
if I could, I'd go up there and swap some war stories with him.
Right? Same here. You know, I tell you, man, having Alex here for the week that he was here was literally the most motivated, uplifting. I don't think I would have pressed the 368 if he wasn't there.
Yeah, he is. He just gives out, it's off that vibe, and it's not because of his condition. It's because of his personality.
Dude, I'll just say, no, I'm not going to say it. All I'm going to say is this. Alex is an amazing human being. Here's a man who can't feel his legs.
Yep.
You know, when he does stand, he has to have crutches, and he can't stand or walk for long.
Right.
So he spends most of his time in a wheelchair. I mean, the fucking guy goes sky jumping, zip lining. Yeah. You know, there's nothing he won't or can't do in his head.
He doesn't, limit himself.
If you look at Alex, you would not think he held 17 world records in 4 different sports.
Yep.
You would never think that he could, at 200 pounds, looking the way he does, that he could pick up 700 pounds off the fucking floor, which is an amazing feat.
For anybody.
For anybody.
Yeah.
You know, like Doug Link said earlier, he watches the show because we don't watch our tongues and we say what we want to say.
Yeah.
You know.
It's unedited.
I'll admit, I'm a chauvinist. I really am. I understand that women can't stay at home because it's just too expensive and costs too much to live. But I really think that's the downfall of our society is we turned mom into dad, dad's into mom. You know, people don't sit around a table and eat anymore and talk about the day and I remember as a kid, we all had to sit around the table.
Yep.
Nobody spoke during dinner. We ate our food, you know, dishes were picked up. Whatever you were drinking, coffee, tea, soda, water, whatever it was brought to the table, and everybody discussed their day, whether good or bad.
Yeah. I was pretty much the same way. That was the meal every day that we assembled for.
You know, you didn't sit there and call. You know, like I watched a video on Facebook where this teenage kid was confronting his dad in the bathroom, calling him a punk bitch and this and that. You know, I told George, because George watched it with me, and he looked at me, he goes, "You punk bitch." I said, "Listen, son, you're lucky you're 6 years old, because 10 years from now, if you say that to me, I'm going to drop you on your ass."
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my 18-year-old knows better than to say something like that, because he will run.
Yeah.
My
And
13-year-old.
you're right. There is a natural order of things. And because of society and how expensive it is to live, that natural order
is out of
is
whack.
all out of whack.
Yeah.
Now, you know what? There's an old saying, why fix it if it's not broke?
Right.
You know, I talked to my dad, rest in peace. Matter of fact, today would have been my parents' 63rd wedding anniversary.
Damn.
If my father was still alive.
Right.
And there was no question about who was alpha male and who was boss in my house.
Right.
And there was no question who was the alpha female in my house.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
That was
I'll tell you what. I remember I would rather go to my dad and get hit than go to my mom.
Oh, hell
Because
yeah.
my mom was a vicious bitch, man. She would
yeah.
fuck you up. I got a scar. I got a scar in the back of my head that I still feel to this day. And every time I give an example to George, I go, "Here, George, you look at the scar on my head. Daddy, how did you get that?" "Well, I called your grandmother a bitch one time, and she took a cast iron pan and busted it upside my head."
Oh, shit.
And Georgie goes, "But Daddy, that's child abuse." I was
There wasn't
29
no
at
such
the time.
thing.
Well, there was no such thing, but at the time I was 29 years old when I called her a bitch.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
Boom!
part of the
Upside the
problem.
back of my head.
You were talking about today's generation. That's part of the problem, is when we took out punishment at school out of schools. I remember getting my ass beat by the principal in school.
Brother, I still remember my principal and vice principal's names. Mr. Furtado, who we called Fred Flintstone, okay, and Mr. Pellerin, who we called Pelican. But now, look, remembering Mr. Pellerin, I actually think he's the double for Joe Biden, because he was a creeper, man. Fucking. But Mr. Pellerin was fair, and I was in the office every day, right? And he comes to me. I don't remember what I was in the office for this time, and he goes, "Okay, Ray, you've been given 3 office detentions. You can either do the 3 detentions, or you can get 9 SWATs."
Yep.
Well, I tell you what, I only chose SWATs one time.
We didn't have
after the fuck, bro, I still got the scar on my ass from where the paddle busted skin.
Oh.
I needed 3 stitches on my ass from how hard he hit me.
Now, see, if that happened today, that'd be a lawsuit.
Yeah, he'd be in prison.
Yeah. But I tell you,
Let me tell you what.
generations grew differently. There was discipline. There was no repercussions for spanking your child in our generations growing up.
True story. My daughter, Leslie, 15 years old, has sex with a 23-year-old man. I try to do what's right, and I go to the police, and I report it.
Right.
Sergeant Ben Blanton was the police officer who took my report. He goes, "Ray, do you really want to do this? Think about it. 50 years ago, your daughter would be getting married."
Yeah.
You know, we've become so sissified as a society.
Yeah.
That things that were in place that worked, that no longer work now, is because we fixed something that wasn't broke, so we broke it.
Yep.
You know, you look back at when I was born, my parents bought a house.
Yep.
3 months before I was born, my childhood home.
Yep.
1971. A 5-bedroom, 1-bath house, 3,200 square feet on 2 acres of land for $24,000. That house is still standing today, better built than the houses they're building now for $500,000.
Oh, yeah.
You know, people, if you're part of Team Crushing It, if you're watching this, understand this isn't a promotion.
Right.
For Country Crush. It really isn't. I'll say my number again, 760-590-4413. You need someone to talk to. You just need someone to vent. My phone is always on.
Yeah, mine 321-460-9044.
You know, Josh, Jess, Jessica, anybody who's going through it, trust me, I do it. I call David all the fucking time.
And it doesn't bother me. I mean, this is as Ray started in the beginning, this is about family, and when one of us is down, the whole team goes down.
Exactly.
So we have to be there to pull our brother or sister up and get them on the right track again. That's what family does. What real family does. Whether you're blood or not, it doesn't make a difference. When I was in the military, that was a brotherhood. There was, especially when you went in a combat situation, you had to rely on your fellow man to make sure you didn't get whacked, and you also had to make sure he didn't get whacked. So that's what brotherhood's about, is watching each other six and making sure that when they fall, you're there for them to make them stand back up.
Exactly. Doug Link, the house I grew up in was a slave house.
Yeah.
It was slave quarters, you know. And that's the biggest thing, lifting everybody up, picking everybody up. It doesn't matter. I don't give a fuck what your political views are, religious views are, sexual orientation. I don't care about any of it. But you have to be able to take whatever comes your way too.
Right.
You know,
the good with the bad.
Well, perfect example. Georgie's event coming up. You know, I'm allowing, and John's allowing someone to compete that's a transgender athlete. And she's competing in the women's class. And I've actually gotten a lot of flack for this. Do I agree with transgender? No, I do not. If you're born a man, you're a fucking man, whether you get it cut off or whether you don't. Right. If you're a woman, whether you add it or you don't. Okay? Man, female. That's the only genders I believe in. But with that being said, who am I to censor, limit, or hinder anybody from pursuing their passion and their dreams?
Right. And the times have changed. 50 years ago, that didn't exist because of the fear of retribution for something like that. I mean, homosexuality 50 years ago, in certain locations, you'd be dead.
Exactly. And I don't agree with homosexuality either. I don't believe that it should be taught in schools. I don't believe regular sex should be taught in schools. Go to fucking school and learn about math, English, science, and fucking history.
Yeah.
Do your I remember going to school. You had to pass 4 years of PE.
Yep.
2 years of history, 2 years of science, 4 years of math, 4 years of English, and 2 years of a foreign language. That's all you needed to graduate.
Yep.
You know, but guys, anybody who watches this, stop putting people down.
Yeah.
I say this all the time, and I'm guilty of it. Well, Doug Link, I look at it this way, bro. I agree with you. Why don't they just shut the fuck up about it? Why broadcast it? To me, I have a firm belief. If you're a fucking pickle puffer and you've chosen to be with another man, or if you're a woman and you chose to be with another woman, I don't believe you should be able to have children. If you can't have children because the spouse, the partner that you've chosen in life can't naturally give you that child. But then I'm also conflicted because there's a lot of children that need to be adopted.
Yeah. It's a double-edged sword, unfortunately.
So it's a half one dozen the other. You know, I have a stepson. And I personally believe that that's the reason why he did what he did to my son. I don't believe you're born gay. I don't believe that you're fucking, it's hereditary. I personally believe that if you're gay, it's because you've been exposed to it and you've been around it. And that's what you've been raised. Like you take two gay parents, you take two gay men who adopt a little boy. He's being raised to think that liking another man is natural. So it's going to be a natural fit for him. But we talked about Christianity before. Part of Christianity is being accepting and forgiving.
Right.
And again, that's why you can't really go by the Bible, because one part of the Bible is completely against homosexuality, and the other part of the Bible says forgive.
Right.
So
Yep.
what do you do?
It does. It contradicts itself.
You live your life as you see fit to where it makes you happy. You take advice from those people you trust and you feel comfortable with. And you make an informed, educated decision.
If you can live your life and be happy and not hurt anybody in the process, you know, like really hurt somebody, there's nothing wrong with that.
Doug Link, you're right. There's a lot of things I want to do that I don't act on.
Yeah.
You know, I don't believe in censorship. So, you know, if you got a bunch of fucking, you know, Hershey Highway riders, pickle puffers, carpet munchers, whatever the fuck you want to call them, that want to walk around in the street in fucking rainbow thongs and foxtails and say, hey, I'm fucking gay. Hey, I'm prideful. It goes on with everything else. You got Black Pride parades, and that's just called Black Pride. You got Cinco de Mayo, and that's, you know, Latino American heritage or whatever. But let a bunch of white motherfuckers join together and say white pride, and we're a bunch of fucking racists.
Yeah. There's no balanced equality.
No, same thing with gay pride.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay, gay pride, but get a bunch of fucking men going heterosexual pride, and we're haters and we don't like it.
We're quick to judge.
Yes. And this is nothing new. As David can tell you, you know, Christians in the beginning were persecuted for being Christian.
Yeah.
Then you go through on the time, and then, you know, Christians were slaughtered by the hundreds and millions, and then the Jewish people were murdered in concentration camps.
Yep.
And now here we are again, but now it's Muslims.
Yep.
And Sharia law.
Yeah.
And all this other bullshit.
It'll never.
I don't believe
because
no, it'll never end.
Yeah.
Just like the dinosaurs, we're gonna fade away because we think that we're too fucking smart and we think that we know it all, and we don't want to pay attention to history. We don't want to pay attention to the lessons history has taught us. The great Roman Empire fell because people didn't want to listen. The Chinese Empire fell. The Chinese Empire fell because it got too powerful and it didn't want to listen to its people.
Romans.
I said Romans before that. You know, you look at Russia. Yeah, look at Russia. Say what the fuck you want about Putin.
Yeah.
You know, I was in St. Petersburg. David will tell you.
Yep.
Paramedics had to be called on me. Not so much as a bill, not even a charge.
Yep.
For the medical attention that I got. Now let me be in a hotel room in Florida.
Yeah.
And get the paramedics called on me. I got a $4,000 fucking bill just for them walking through my door.
Oh yeah. They give you a Band-Aid. It's fucking $50.
Now I worked in a hospital for 23 years. I know what things to charge. Like, for an example, a shot of insulin only costs $2.36 to manufacture.
Right.
But it's going to cost you $1,500 fucking dollars to get it.
Yep. And why?
That's
supply and demand.
Exactly.
We will pay whatever it costs, and they know this. Big Pharmaceuticals knows this. Big Oil knows this. They know that we're fucked if we can't get those things. So they will continue.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that asshole. Was it 2 years ago, a year ago? Young man who bought the patent on an AIDS medication that cost like $80 and raised it to like $900.
Yeah. Or you got. Again, it comes down to
Greed.
Yeah, and that's all it is. Like, I have to take a medication.
Yep.
Okay, I have a seizure medication I'm supposed to take. Okay, my insurance doesn't cover it.
That's nice.
So in order for me to get this seizure medication, I would have to pay $1,019 for 30 fucking pills.
Jesus Christ.
So guess what I don't take?
Yeah. And see, and
Because
that's stupid.
Because I can go buy an ounce of weed for $80 and keep my seizures in check.
Yeah.
Pharmaceutical companies are the biggest fucking drug dealers in the world. The federal government are the pimps that fucking push this shit into our systems to make it. The most addictive drug in this country right now is prescribed opioids.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
I got kicked out of a rehab facility because I refused to take pain medication.
Yep. It's everywhere. It's becoming an epidemic. If it's not already considered one, it is an epidemic. And it's doctors feeding these to people because they would rather mask the pain than treat the pain.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't care where you come from. I don't care what your beliefs are. Like Doug Link said about Muslims, fuck them. I agree. I have my reasons why I don't like them. Don't give a fuck if you accept my reasons. I'll quote a famous line from Clint Eastwood from one of my favorite movies, Gran Torino.
Oh, yes.
Where he's sitting there on his front lawn with a fucking rifle pointed at this Korean kid. And he says, I used to stack fish heads like you 10 high. Kind of my feeling about Middle Eastern people.
Yeah.
And people who believe in Sharia law and Muslims.
When you watch Clint Eastwood say something like that, it's like he means it. It's not acting. It's like he fucking means it. And he says it publicly off the movie screen. Oh yeah, I've watched many actors who have been directed by because Clint Eastwood does more directing now than he does acting, and they said he will scare the shit out of you, just being in his presence. Exactly.
Doug Link, yes, sleeping pills are a horrible drug to get addicted to.
Yeah.
Everybody has their prejudices. Everybody has their, whatever you want to call it, racisms, whatever. I was actually told one time that black people couldn't be racist because they weren't in power.
And my favorite thing is all these campaigns that you see in the news and by the government and private organizations for racism awareness. It's not like someone's going to see this commercial about racism and all of them to go, holy fuck, I didn't know I was a racist the whole time. Well, son of a bitch.
Hey, bro, I have the rebel flag, the Confederate flag tattooed on my, proudly tattooed on my thigh. I've got lightning bolts on my arm. I got a clover on my neck.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
God.
Yeah. The thing is this, guys. why hate anybody, really? I don't, and that's hypocritical of me to say, but my feelings towards people from the regions that I served in.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, oh, poor Muslims this, poor Muslims that. But you know what? After 9/11, you weren't sitting in Afghanistan and Kuwait watching these motherfuckers dance around in the street saying death to America, death to Americans.
Yep.
Okay? You weren't seeing this over here in this country with your fucking head stuck in a goddamn pillow.
Yep.
Because you don't want to see what's really going on in the world.
They weren't seeing what was really going on as
Doug Link, without David's shoulder being hurt, you're going to lose that $50 bet. Keep in mind, David has been training the Viking press for a very long time. I've only been doing the Viking press for 4 weeks, and I'm already
made a hell of a lot of progress.
And I'm at 468.8 is what I did the other day. David, I believe, has done 405.
Yep.
So I believe I'm.
368. You said you doing 468. I was like,
yeah,
468. Son of a bitch.
368. David's doing 405. I believe I'm in range to be competitive against David.
Oh, definitely.
Providing he doesn't use his upcoming hernia surgery as an excuse to fucking nut out.
That's not going to hold me back.
But I believe I'm in range to catch David, Doug. So just be ready to send that check to the American Society of Autism, buddy. And by the way, just so everybody knows, yes, I am 368 ain't out of range. There you go.
Yeah.
And just so you know, Doug, I did have 407 pounds halfway up.
Yeah.
So
you were burnt out on that workout. You had done so much at that point that you just stalled. I mean, your body was depleted. That's all it was. It wasn't a lack of strength, it was a lack of energy.
Yeah. David and I are coming into this. David's going to be coming into this just 2 to 3 weeks off of hernia surgery. Yep. And he's got about 20 pounds on me, the fat bastard.
It's all my pants.
Exactly. You know what? I'm going to make you fucking lift naked.
No, there's several reasons why that would be a bad idea.
Well, look at it this way. Look at it this way. You as you're lifting, all the girls can swing from it. Adult girls of 18 and above.
18 and above, yes. Let's be specific about it.
As long as they're not related to me, married to me, or sleeping in my home, they can swing from your dick.
Oh, great. So Chris Demos is out of the picture.
Yeah. Doug Link. Damn, I'm lucky. Hey, Doug, we can make the bet $200 if you want. Because not only am I doing the Viking press against David,
yep,
I got a fucking super match the night before. We're doing the Thor. We're going head to head on the Thor hammer hold.
Yep.
It's going to be
fun,
an
guys. This is all for fun. This is all for Georgia.
Yeah.
And for autism, these are not serious grudges. Just for those of you who aren't familiar with how this works, we're doing this out of fun. So, and any money that is raised out of these bets goes to the charity.
Right. No, in fact, the money will, if you're writing a check, it'll be written to the American Society of Autism.
So we're doing this for fun, but we're taking the lifts seriously. I mean, we're all competitive by nature, so it's just,
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, in all honesty, his shoulder is fucked. No way I'm betting on the Thor. Yeah, that's probably a good bet because I'll kick his ass on the Thor hammer hold.
Oh, I don't know. I got Thor sitting right over here. Thor's hammer is right there.
Hey,
and he's too.
You know what I think we should do? Instead of a Thor hammer, you know what I think we should do?
Oh, God.
We should do an old school strongman event where we stand with our backs against the wall as we're holding a car battery out in front of us.
We could do that. Yeah, that's an old school one. Yeah.
And then we have a line underneath, and once the battery hits that line,
Yep.
you're done.
That was back in the day. That was Bill Casimir's day.
Yep. Hell, we can, even if you really want to go old school, let's put some fucking refrigerators on our back and fucking race up a course.
Yep. Oh yeah.
You know?
I mean, back in the day, that's how. I mean, you look at the old days. They used to have. I mean, shit. I watched a video. It was Bill Casimir and a couple other guys. They had basically straps underneath full-grown pigs, and that was their farmer's carry. They were carrying pigs, one in each hand, live pigs. I'm like, oh, I bet you those pigs are loving that shit. But I mean, yeah, the old school ways when they used to have the Viking press where there was a they still do it, I think, sometimes. But there's a rack above your head, and every time you do a press, another keg rolls into the rack. You do another press, another keg is released into the rack until you can't press anymore. And I've seen what's his face Halfthor do it to the point where it was completely full. And so, did you? And just did you see the news about Johan?
Hold on real quick. Doug Link, in all fairness, he may have a shoulder injury, but I just had major back surgery. And I'm I'm doing chemotherapy, so I don't want to hear him bitching about no fucking shoulder injury.
I'm not bitching about it.
No, I was talking to Doug Link.
Oh.
Doug, hey, I'll tell you what. I think David has one. I have a 10-inch circus dumbbell. I'll bring it. We can do a one-hand overhead press.
Yeah, I got one.
I'm no fucking Demitar, but I've got 178 up one-handed.
Yeah, I've got a circus dumbbell if we need it. Mine's a 10-inch.
Yeah. And we're talking about the dumbbell, not his dick. Otherwise, we would have said 4.
Well, if you were talking about my dick, I'd say 12. But
wow, I was giving you credit with 14.
Well, that depends on how cold it is outside.
You know, I will say this. We are definitely no Ellen DeGeneres show.
No.
We're definitely no fucking Oprah.
We're not Dr. Phil either.
Well, you know what? We could pass as Dr. Phil. We give advice. We tell people the way it is. You know?
Yeah, we are not PG and we are not PC.
Fuck no. You know, I look at it this way. If you can't have an opinion in life without being afraid of who it's going to offend, then we're in a very sad time.
Oh, it is. It's pathetic. I mean, really.
You know? Like, I'll be honest with you. Like, I'm going to be doing this Beaver Pump podcast next Tuesday. I have no fucking idea what they want to talk about.
Yeah. You're walking.
Something tells me I'm going to get ambushed a little bit. But that's fine. I hope they're ready for what they're about to get.
Merry Christmas.
You know.
Merry Christmas
now, what were you,
motherfuckers?
And no, I did not hear the news about Johan. What happened?
He will not be competing in the 2019 World's Strongest Man series because of issues with his visa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he announced it, I believe, late or fairly late last night. He released a post saying that he is not he's eligible, but he's having issues with his visa, so he cannot travel to the countries that World's Strongest Man is going to be held. He didn't give you.
Man, I'll tell you what, brother. Getting a visa is fucking a pain in the ass. Look how long it took. Look how long it took Helen and I to get a visa to go to Russia.
It's a pain in the ass. I mean, it's so I don't know. He didn't give any reasons. That's all it said. So. Yeah.
That's incredible, man. That sucks.
I know, because he's getting stronger and stronger. I mean, I watch his training videos, and he's hitting PRs constantly. And, you know, he's number 6 in the world right now. I was expecting to see him in 2019 jump into the top 3.
I think he would have if this didn't happen.
Yeah, I think he has it in him. I mean, he's a strong man. I mean, his traps alone are just insane. I mean, but when he was on live with John, his faith, his determination, and the fact that he actually got emotional about talking about the sport and talking about his faith and his family showed that he was a human being, that he wasn't above anybody else as far as seeing himself as at a higher level than a normal human being.
I mean, I really wish he would have came on the show Monday. I wish that would have happened.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened with that, but in my talkings with him, he is a very humble man. He's very God-fearing, very loving.
Yes.
He lives in a fucked up country, though.
Yeah, he does. He does.
Fucking, let me tell you what, if you're a white, you don't want to be in South Africa right now.
No, you don't.
But hey, black
message Johan, hey, your country's fucked up. Come stay in my house. You can your rent will be paying me.
fucking, but I love that. You got white people being killed left and right, but black people can't be racist.
No, exactly. Oh, no, it's ridiculous. You can just watch the news and see that shit.
Josh was live.
The headline will be a white cop shoots a black man, and 10 pages back, when there used to be newspapers, it'll say white man shot by a black cop. And
yep.
A little tiny story.
Well, did you see that video that's going around right now? With those five or six black guys who knocked the shit out of that white girl?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I did see that. Somebody posted it on Facebook.
But that doesn't get reported.
Nope. Doesn't get major news media. Why? Because it doesn't cause division. The government and the media want division of the classes. They want division of religion. They want the division of race, color, creed. Because if we all actually learned how to get together and be at peace, we would fuck the government in a second. But they want us to be disorganized because if we all figured out how badly we were getting fucked, and we would have another civil war.
Oh yeah,
so
easily.
Yeah, we would overthrow the government. I mean, that's what coming to America and founding the United States was about in the first place: avoiding tyranny and separation of class and creed and religious persecution. What's happening now? The same goddamn thing.
Bro, the bottom line is this, dude. Our forefathers, and this is what's funny. Our forefathers fought a revolutionary war to succeed from England and get away from taxation and all this.
Yep.
But where are we at now? 300 years, later.
Same day.
We have an English debt collection company called the Internal Revenue Service.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people don't realize. The IRS isn't even a fucking American company.
No.
It's an English company.
Yep.
And they're not even a government-funded company, but yet they can throw us in fucking jail.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They can take everything you own.
Because the people that you guys, or not you per se, David.
Yeah.
But the people that the public are fighting over.
Yep.
In the front office, everybody, Republicans hates Democrats, and Trump is talking shit about Hillary and talking shit about this. But in the Oval Office, Hillary's bent over the front desk getting fucking plowed while Bill Clinton is sitting there fucking.
I needed.
They're all buddies fucking in their secret societies fucking laughing at us poor folk.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the upper 1% don't give a shit about everybody else. No. They don't.
No, not even close.
Give 2 fucks about our existence. But and it's sad because we as a country were founded on the proper ideals and then for the right reasons, and everything that our forefathers started is gone. I mean, we've wiped it all out. I mean, it's sad because it's not that it's been perfect, ever been perfect, but by any means. But it's I don't know. I just the definition of being a man has changed dramatically with the new generation.
You know what? You know what? The best meme that I like? Me, my mother. Look at Ray. I found a picture of your grandfather when he was younger,
Right.
and it's a soldier.
Yep.
Fast forward to 2060. Look at, honey, I found a Facebook image of your grandfather, and it's some fucking fag dressed up like a chick.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the definition of a man has changed. Just go back to World War I, World War II, Korea, the Korean Wars. Men and women, well, men at that time, were not afraid to die. They would storm
Right.
the beaches of Normandy with bullets coming at them, grenades.
Bro, we're celebrating what, the 75th anniversary of D-Day?
Yep.
That was real fucking men.
That was real men.
Men,
Yeah, those were
men
guys
who
with
went in the
balls.
military out of honor for their country, out of loyalty to their country.
Yep.
You know? And now our military and our veterans, they get disgraced and spit on by a bunch of fucking pansy-ass motherfuckers who don't have the balls to join the Boy Scouts. Or can we even call it the Boy Scouts now?
No, you can't even call
You know? Fucking gender scouts.
Yeah, the Girl Scouts, you can't call them Girl Scouts anymore because they have, there's the equality. No, there's separation of race or of gender for a reason.
Yeah.
With having an exclusive club for boys or girls or men or women, there's nothing wrong with that. That's not being discriminatory. It's simply, I mean, what do you think they call it? A gentleman's club. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It's the Boy Scouts. They're teaching different ideals to the boys than they are the girls. There's nothing wrong with that.
Here's a perfect example. Those back in the 90s, those two chicks that sued that military school because it was an all-boys military school.
Yep.
Then what? 3 days later, they fucking dropped out because they couldn't fucking hang.
Yep.
You know,
now women that were trying to get into the Navy SEALs.
Navy SEALs.
They couldn't hang.
No. You know, bottom line is this, and I don't give a fuck who this offends. Ladies, you're not as strong as us. Stop acting like you fucking are. Stop acting like you can do the same as men. You can't. Period.
Not without a shit ton of steroids.
Right. And even then you can't.
Yeah.
You know, I got into this debate one time with a woman, I won't mention her name, who's a top-tier power lifter.
Right.
Who can actually lift more than I can.
Right.
And I go to her, I said, well, you can't compare yourself to me, but let's compare you to a top-tier male power lifter.
Right.
And put you both head to head.
Right.
And see who comes out better.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But that's just because
Take care of Doug Link.
We're physiologically different. Our bodies are designed to do two different tasks. I mean, that was intelligent.
I personally think women are more intelligent than men.
I think so. Yeah.
I think men are more tolerant than women, and I think women are more vicious than men.
Oh, I definitely agree with the vicious part.
But you know, it is what it is. But you know what, guys? I want to thank everybody for watching. David and I have been on here long enough. Josh Loudon did a live feed while we're doing ours, so I'm kind of interested to see what, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a look at it.
But I'm gonna end this, guys. I don't care where you think you are. in the pecking order of Team Crushing It, because there is no pecking order.
Yeah.
We are all equal. We are all here for each other. So if you're having a hard time, if you need someone to vent to, David and I have given our numbers out multiple times.
Yep.
Hit us up, give us a call. Until then, until our next live feed, I want to say take care. David will be coming on to my workout tonight.
Yep.
So tune in around 6:30 tonight, and we'll talk to you guys soon. David, brother, I love you. I'll give you a call when I get on the road.
All right, brother. Be good.
Love you. Bye.
Love you.